Ladies and gents, welcome back. I just had to make this one last video before I headed off today for work, and it's just unbelievable the words that come from the mouth of the Prime Minister of Canada. Does he actually believe the things that he says? But in this case, we have here from Devin A. Thompson asking, is Trudeau Canada's first psychopathic Prime Minister? And this is... Holy cow, I can't even get into it. I can't. Just the words that I have that I cannot say on YouTube to this. And I don't mean to be Mr. Outrage because I hate that. But like, wow. Just listen to what he has to say. Trudeau today says that he did not force anyone to get vaccinated and adds he knows that some people deeply disagree with him.
And all of the scientists and the medical experts and the researchers, not just in Canada, but around the world, understood that vaccination was going to be the way through this. And therefore, while not forcing anyone to get vaccinated, I chose to make sure that all the incentives and all the protections were there to encourage Canadians to get vaccinated. And that's exactly what they did. We got vaccinated to a higher level than just about any other of our peer countries. And that's why we had a less deadly pandemic than most other countries. Now, I see a lot of people nodding along with that.
That's not a nod.
But boy, oh boy, you know, the comments section on the live stream right now is exploding with people who are in deep, deep disagreement with everything I just said. And we have to figure out how to continue to protect those people, because my job as Prime Minister is to keep people alive and keep people safe and keep democracy going, whether or not they choose to believe that's what I'm doing or not.
The word here you're looking for is coercion, the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threats. These weren't incentives, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Oh my God, it's just unbelievable. Here's some videos of him showing the incentives that he had put in place.
You deserve a government that's going to continue to say, get vaccinated. And you know what? If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
Yes, that was coercion, along with this.
Apologize for being unequivocal that vaccines are the way through this. And if you make a choice, a personal choice, to not get vaccinated, then I will have no sympathy for you when you come to me and said, oh, but I can't go out to a restaurant with my friends, or I'm not being allowed to go to the gym, or my employer is telling me I have to continue to work from home.
Or not work at all. This is the thing. So in Canada, we still have mandates in place, and we still have people that are out of work because of the words and the rhetoric that's come from this Prime Minister. Of course, he previously said that we would never do this.
In terms of mandatory vaccines won't be mandatory. That's not the way we do things in Canada.
But like I said, what do you do with someone with an allergy? What do you do with someone who's immunocompromised, or someone who, for religious or deep convictions, decides that no, they're not going to get a vaccine? We're not a country.
What do you do?
We're not a country that makes vaccination mandatory, for example.
Oh, are we not? Are we not? Is this not something that we do? Now, even Wikipedia has this brilliant little piece of gaslighting. It's unbelievable. Wikipedia, as you know, is run by their editors, and while their editors always seem to have a particular slant, COVID-19 vaccine mandates in Canada are the responsibility of the provinces, territories, and municipalities, and in the case of the federal public services and federally regulated transportation industries, the federal government. Then they go on to say there were no federal mandates for COVID-19 vaccines in Canada, but they just said federally regulated transport industries, the federal government put in those those vaccine mandates, and there were vaccine mandates absolutely for travel, and this was against the Charter of rights and freedoms in Canada. Freedom of movement in particular, freedom of movement, mobility rights. The right to travel is a human right, except encompassing the right of individuals to travel from place to place within the territory of a country, and to leave the country and return to it. This is the federal government was in charge of the borders, and they put a federal mandate on the borders. The right includes not only visiting places, but changing the place where the individual resides or works. Such right is provided by the constitutions of numerous states and in documents reflecting norms of international law. For example, Article 13 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights asserts that everyone has the right of freedom of movement. And it goes on, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can read on about this. But we went over this months ago when I had Keith Wilson on, who was representing Brian Peckford, the First Minister, that actually wrote the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada, who was suing Trudeau's government over the mandates. Holy cow. This is unbelievable. The words that have come from his face is just, oh my God, it's so infuriating. Federal court judge rejects travel mandates lawsuit over mootness. Why did they reject the lawsuit? Well, because they pulled the temporary measures that they had been renewing over and over and over again instead of making a law. They made temporary measures, and then as soon as the lawsuit came about, they lifted them and then said, well, it's moot. We don't need to take this to court because those measures are no longer in place, not allowing the Canadian public to have some sort of precedent set in a court case, just so that the Trudeau government, if they ever chose to do so again, could put mandates right back in place. And here he is saying that he never put mandates on a federal level, and his government never did that. They absolutely did that, and he needs to be put in his place for that. He lied under oath about calling people names. And, I don't even know where else to go with this. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this whole Trudeau gaslighting people and telling people that he didn't do the things that he absolutely did. Putting restrictions on people's lives for over 2 years, telling people that they can't travel, locking people down, and then putting mandates in place for people who decided not to get vaccines. And then, of course, that is coercion, the coercion that got people to go out and roll up their sleeves even though they didn't want to. They didn't feel that it was important for them. And then we're finding out all this time later that there might be some trouble for people who did, and maybe were taking a larger risk than they necessarily wanted to in the first place. That's classic coercion. This is not something that the government can just do and then claim that they didn't do. Take responsibility for the actions that you've done. Anyway, I'll leave this one up to you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'm getting too frustrated. I need to go pull wrenches for the day. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep on trucking.